The things I didn't talk about is that one of these teenagers who was acting like he wanted to have sex with me during this field, so around security too. And he knew he wasn't from Guatemala because I didn't see him around anymore. And he knew uh, who was the one who committed sexual abuse on me when I was a child here in my neighborhood, in security too. And this other teenager, he was acting like he would be capable to have sex with me, but I should pay him. He was like, I do whatever you want, but you have to give me some money. I was like, I found him several times, and I was like, seems like it's true. So he didn't want to talk to him anymore. It's like they are sweetening them. Uh, in witchcraft terms, it's like even if they have bad intentions with you, you can stop talking to them. You like the way they are, they behave like they're a nice person, even if they want to get you in trouble. So they even do it with teenagers. So that was something I had to say. And what else? I guess that's all. I don't want to make it long. I no longer. I don't have much battery here, and I don't know when I will be able to record about this. So just a second. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't say no. Yeah, this guy who I met in Zone 1, he asked me to call him uncle because they know everything that's happening in your country of origin. So they would be playing jokes about it. And some of my relatives are my uncles in the United States. So just a second. So yeah, the dilemma is that even though you were a minor, even though you were beaten at school, I have already talked about it. Eh, what I'm trying to say with all of this is that in my case, I should have been gay. Why? Because they used my brother so that other women with somebody else's children got to the US through him. And they would try to do the same with me. After they used us, they would try to take control of immigration. They could even, just like they did with me having diabetes, they would try to even make you get sick and die, getting you off their way. I'm tired of trying to find nice words to say it. That's the trick. They would try to get you off their way by making you get sick and die. So, yeah, that's the back and forth I'm talking about. Yeah, you had to be gay but you were a minor when that happened. You were a teenager, you were a child when they committed sexual abuse on you. So I'm pointing this out because uh, according to what I just realized, there are the reapers could be like someone who commits sexual abuse or someone who's sewing something. There are the our generation who could have get the papers, and the generation that's coming is the one that could get easily what the previous generations struggled to have. So it's not fair. It's not fair. We don't have any obligations. We don't have any obligations, and after all I went through, yeah, they should get it by themselves. And now I'm caught up in that dilemma that, well, he did it, but he committed sexual abuse on me, but I should have been gay because they would be messing with me, with my children, if I would have children, but I have none. So he, that's the dilemma with this situation. There was something else. So it was like trying to make it look like uh, you started having sex when I was when you were a minor. There was somebody else in that junior high school where I started when I was 14 years old. It was almost 18. It was almost over age. And according to what I heard in the conversations they had in the class, when a teacher was absent, they would let me participate. They didn't let me participate because they didn't like me. So they were having conversations and they didn't let me participate. That classmate was apparently also Mexican because I never saw him again here in Guatemala. I still remember of him, but I never saw him again. Once the whole people of the private junior high school went to Campo Marte. Campo Marte, it's like a stadium here in Guatemala, because it was a physical education day. I arrived late and didn't know how to get to Campo Marte. They told me to stay in the classroom, and that day, this classmate arrived. He was months away from being of age. We were alone in the classroom, and he approached me from behind. Out of nowhere, he tried to grab me by the waist to the bottom of my pants. That's what I felt, but I moved away from him. And at that moment, the school bell rang. I now understand that most of the students in my classroom seemed to be Mexican, even Mexicans, even some of those who studied in other classrooms, including the ones from other classroom. Uh, they were also Mexicans. I remember that day when this happened with this classmate. There was another classmate who said, "Are you okay?" But not to me. They were talking among themselves. They were two ladies, and one said to another, "Are you okay?" Another classmate asked her, this other classmate, what happened. To what the first classmate replied, "You don't know they were going to do something to someone." The other classmate said they asked for that from up there, maybe U.S., Mexico, not that sure. That's why the guys are laughing up there in the second floor. Eh, they do that because when you go to the you arrive to the Mexico-U.S. border, they and they make you leave your country. They find out everything about it, and they try to make you feel bad about it. About everything you went through, everything they put you through. I haven't seen any of these classmates I started with at the junior high school again. Only one who acted like he was gay but turned out to have a girlfriend in that same junior high school. Twins even came to Guatemala. There were two twins. Well, there were two twins. One of them were apparently martyred. Don't know if it's true or he went back to Mexico, because I found people who look physically like him in public transportation. So I don't know why they do that. It's like, hi, and I'm like, hi. Don't want to talk to them because I don't know with what intentions they do that. But well, there were these two twins studied. They made me understand that the people who studied at the same high school I attended when I was a teenager are actually Mexican. That's what happened in public transportation. There's no one who physically resembles that person in Guatemala, but I've already met two Mexicans who look physically to that guy. The first one was in a place where, just a second, where I was working at, and the second one was in public transportation. They're doing those noises on purpose. Están haciendo ese ruido con el camión a propósito. ¿Saben qué es lo que estoy hablando? ¿Ah? ¿Saben qué es lo que estoy hablando? Pero no me lo dicen. A veces les pregunto y no me lo dicen. Sometimes I ask him why they are doing that. If they know who I am, and they don't tell me, but they act that way. Hmm? So I always ran into a lady who attended the school where I attended. She insisted insistently asked me about my relative, my sister in the U.S. Uh, they weren't close friends, but she was always, hey, uh, how's your sister? And I was like, I guess she's doing well because I don't have any communication with her. Okay, but they were doing that because they were. Uh, that was the only way they seemed to find to let me know that they were gonna make me leave Guatemala. That's the truth. There's an American here. Hay un estadounidense acá. I don't care. That's why I've been saying in all these recordings, I'm telling the truth. I wouldn't be wasting my time telling lies. I'm not interested in US papers because they're gonna do witchcraft to me, to have problems with alcoholism and taking drugs. Por eso es de que tanto lo he estado diciendo. Yo no estuviera perdiendo mi tiempo grabando mentiras. No quiero papeles americanos porque sé que me van a estar molestando para que tenga problemas con el alcoholismo y la drogadicción. No practico brujería, entonces yo no podría probarlo y no sé cómo protegerme de eso. I don't do witchcraft, so I don't practice witchcraft, so I don't know how to protect myself from that. And I don't want to be the bridge for for others to go to the US or get US papers. Y yo no voy a hacer la conexión o el puente para otros que fácil se vayan a Estados Unidos o tengan papeles americanos, ¿no? So, the fact that they always ask me about my relative who is in the United States is because of those games people play. It's not because they want to know if you have communication with your relatives. It's not until later when they get you in those games where they ask you about your relative in the United States. It's because in that game they challenge among themselves to let you know that they know they want you to leave Guatemala because you are in their way so that others can go to the US. I even remember a girl who studied in my classroom at that junior high school talking about how they were going to hit a man's nose. And this girl, now a lady, she said she lived in Security 1, but I never saw her again. She was like talking with those powers, those gifts, magical gifts they get with witchcraft, what they were gonna do. She looked like she was possessed. That's what I remember. I don't know what else she said they were going to do to him. He told this to my relative who is now in the United States when we attended that junior high school. The person who hurt my nose and offered me drugs used to say he was from Security 1, the same neighborhood this girl said she was from. Just a second. Okay, still have time. Something else happened when I was 16 years old. There was someone who didn't seem to be Guatemalan who talked to me about having sex with him. I even ran into him on my way home. He was driving in a car. There was also someone else who even offered me money, but I just saw him once. In San Juan, San Juan, Guatemala City, they have already let me know that they know who he was. So he was Mexican. I never saw him again here in Guatemala. This other guy, I ran into him on my way home. He was driving a car. He seemed to have a job. He seemed to have a good job because he was wearing nice clothes. I got into his vehicle. Same thing, I couldn't say no. I don't know why. Sometimes it's like I shouldn't have said yes or I should have said no, but it's like you can't say no. It's like when somebody is trying to make you piss off and something stops you from turning your head and say, hey, what's going on? It's the same thing. So I don't know what witchcraft they did on me or what powers, as they call those witchcraft gifts they get from witchcraft. But something happens. So I get into his vehicle because he was insisting, and I wasn't naive and drove to what was then just a construction site in Naranjo. Naranjo would be like Orange County, in zone 4 of Mexico, close to the peripheral way, the peripheric in zone 7, Guatemala City. He parked the car and started trying to be intimate with me. I remember seeing him on a report from the Guatemalan government secretary several years later. I cannot believe seeing him in that report, news report, but I saw him. So the thing is that lately, when I've been looking for a job, I have seen people walking by wearing badges from the government of Guatemala. Like I don't know, like try to intimidate me. Like, are you telling lies? No, I don't know what kind of people you've been hiring. He seems like he wasn't from Guatemala because I never saw him. I saw him like 1 or 2 years here in Guatemala, but I never saw him again. So I don't know what kind of people have been hiring, get hired here in Guatemala. But I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth, and because I'm of those people who have been well, as far as I know, they would be interested in having newspapers or live in Guatemala. Some of them work in any branch, in any area, any department of the government of Guatemala. You having in your resume references for working for the government of Guatemala, getting newspapers, getting to the US. Can you imagine that? So you're trying to use me, and I don't know if you would be getting me into trouble. So I have to talk about it and tell the whole truth. Once again, I say it, I'm not making anything up. Well, still have 2 minutes left. There was also another one who was supposedly Mexican who said out loud that he liked minors. He was working something related with vehicles, and I found him when I was in zone 17. Seems like he has those magical powers to get with witchcraft to know where I am. He said that. I don't know why he said that. I don't want to know why he said that, but he said it. That's why when they use it on their favor, like when they are out in the streets, like in a previous audio. Hey, what's up? I don't know you. There's something about you. I cannot trust you. Don't talk to me, please. It's not like I feel special or better than you. There's something about you that don't let me trust you. So please don't talk to me. You're so arrogant. I'm not arrogant. Now that I know that you're playing games and that's why you're trying to talk to me. No, don't talk to me, please. So that's all for this audio. We'll have to continue with the rest of this of the audios whenever I have time because I'm with all these things. It's been really hard for me to record this.